Catfishing.
Whoa, what's going on, guys? It's me. Hey, it's Jordan. And?
I'm Lucy.
Why is this like half open? I thought this was gonna be brand new.
Because I drank it.
Anyway, so we have been wanting to make a long distance video together for a while. And you guys have asked us a whole bunch of questions. We have them on our...
Julie.
And we have them on our phones. We're gonna answer all you guys' long distance questions, or at least a few. Yeah. There's a lot of them.
There is a lot.
We weren't able to answer every single one. But we picked a couple. But we picked a couple, and we're gonna answer some of them. We haven't answered them like between the two of us either.
No, this is like super fresh.
This is gonna be live.
Very like super live, very raw, very raw.
Anything could happen. Let's go ahead. Okay. First question. Hardest thing about living in two different countries?
I would probably say the culture's completely different. Some things are okay to say here and some things are not okay to say over there, or like vice versa.
Right.
I find, especially where you live in Los Angeles, is very like open and you can wear whatever you want, you can do whatever you want as long as you're a good person, whereas here it's a little bit more judgmental here. For example, like outfits, like some people wear some sick outfits in LA. You've got that really here, cool. People just like stare at you because it's not a common thing.
I think the hardest thing for me about long distance is, well, you just...
The different countries.
Sorry?
Different countries.
What did I say?
Long distance.
What's the question? I don't even remember. What's the hardest thing about living in two different countries? You're right. It's very far. It's far.
It's far. It is really far.
There's no touch, there's no physical touch, let alone two different countries, two different continents. And not just two different continents, the farthest continents in the entire world. I think, what would rival it? Antarctica and the Arctic? Maybe?
Maybe.
But those are probably farther? I don't even know. I guess if I was living in Canada, that would be even worse. So someone who lives in Nunavut dating someone who lives in Melbourne. That is, do you know Nunavut?
No.
It's one of the provinces. But the physical touch, that's probably the hardest part. I love coming home and we can just, like, I get to come home to you. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. I like to wake up and to be able to wake up to my fiance, you know? So, next question.
Next question. How does it feel to be engaged to a star or engaged in general?
Interesting. Being with someone who's not in the public focus, the public eye, that's what I'll call it, but not in the public eye. I feel like I have to ease you in to what it's like. Being in the entertainment business in general, or just doing YouTube stuff a lot, I just forget that I am just like ready to go. But you're still like nervous and stuff every now and then, just because you're not used to that, even though it's very low key. So when it comes to like doing events or doing other things like that, I'm just like very aware.
Yeah,
and
it's very overwhelming for me when I go to events.
What is that like for you? For
being engaged to a star?
I get very shy when you say star. But it's like someone who's in the entertainment industry in general. It's horrible, you could say it.
No.
We're gonna have a kombucha break.
Because like to me, you don't feel like a star at all. It doesn't affect me at all in that sense of Jordan himself. Like even going on set, maybe I felt it a little bit when I was watching you. Obviously your castmates are, you know, huge in the States and, you know, around the world, and I was like, they're just normal people. So everything's a lot chill. I think the only time I really feel it is the comments you get sometimes and the messages, and knowing that you probably get a lot of messages in your message requests or certain photos or certain things like that. That's when it gets a bit like frustrating on my part, because I'm like, God, why can't people see that we're engaged right now? I think I got caught a beard once, at one point. I've never been in situations where I've been like, someone's messaging or commenting on that, a boyfriend or a partner's photo, or messaging them, and I have never been like, oh, like they should know that I'm in a relationship and stuff like that. Like it's like goes over people's head, or they just don't care, and it's like, can you see the photo? Like we're engaged right now. I'm just like it doesn't think in my head, because I'm like, everyone should see the posts. Why are they sending you messages like this? But some people just either don't see it or they don't care.
Yeah, it's really odd, because if it was just two people who were not in the public eye, then most likely these comments would come from like people that you know, and then you're thinking, well, hold on, you can't, you know that we're together and you know us, so it would just be a lot more personal. So like when all of these random people, all you lovely people comment on the photos, it still feels that same way, I think. Next question.
We did ramble on.
Did you guys find it hard with the time zones? I actually don't think we did.
Never.
No, I don't think.
No.
I don't think we did find it hard. I think that
we had a really good system. We would talk all day until it was 10 p.m. your time, or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock my time. So I could wake up and talk to Jordan until the afternoon. The only thing is I wouldn't talk to him at night unless we could catch each other just before, when he wakes up or before I go to bed. We'll just have a quick little like phone call.
Afternoon to night, there was a really just easy spot where we could talk, and that's the time that we had. So we utilized that.
Yeah.
Sometimes there was late nights on my part, for sure. I stayed up later than I usually like to stay up. I go to bed like 9:30, but sometimes I'd fall asleep at like 1 because we'd be talking. Whew. But it was so worth it.
That was a lot in the beginning.
That was a lot in the beginning. Yeah. But then I said, look, my lady, I have a routine to keep too.
Oops.
Next question.
Next question. Did you feel like you had to be engaged before making the commitment to move abroad? So if you don't know, I'm moving to LA with Jordan next year in February, end of February. I like never ever felt that I had to, commit to you more so, ever. Like I didn't even know that we were, when he was proposing to me. I knew it was gonna be one day, but I didn't have any clue. I always wanted to move to the States, whether it was on my own, but Jordan so happened to be there, so it kind of fell into place a little bit better. Yeah,
I don't feel like we had to commit even further to each other when we had already decided that we were moving in with each other. Like, it just so happened that I felt like I wanted to propose, and it just worked out in our favor. We were talking about it. It was just natural. I didn't say, oh, she's moving over, I have to propose. It was, she's moving over, so I would love to propose.
When you know, you know.
You know. Next, how do you keep it all together when you miss your significant other and you don't talk enough? We're in like 2 different places for that kind of a situation. I have been through the being alone in my life kind of situations a lot. When I got into like university, I just started leaving for the summer so that I could take acting lessons in like a different country. I just was already leaving home so much. Left Canada, I went to LA, I've been living alone already, that I feel like okay when I'm on my own. I feel like I have the things that I like to do when I'm by myself. I feel kind of at peace like that.
This is my first ever long distance relationship. So I'm not used to it at all. I actually didn't like the idea of being in a long distance to start off with when we first started talking. But, I've grown up in a family, like 3 brothers, my parents, like, being around people a lot. So, and I live with, it's just my mum and I that live together now. So I'm used to living with someone, but I'm the type of person, I'm physical touch. I need the touch, I need the cuddles, I need the kisses, I need the hand holding. That's my thing. So it made it 10 times harder on me. The amount of nights I was like crying on the phone, just missing him and stuff. And it was probably good though that I had my time alone, because it really built me as a person and built me to be independent a little bit more and do things on my own. So say, for example, if Jordan has to go away for the weekend for work, or I have to go somewhere, or I fly back home, I feel like we can definitely do that.
Right.
And I think it made us grow as a couple as well, and made us even more ready for the next steps that we have coming up in our life. Obviously moving in together is a really big step, and now being engaged is also a really big step. So I think it was good, but it was really hard.
I don't think I knew that I was a very on my own kind of person. I don't think I knew that until like maybe this past year. I feel like a lot has happened for me individually. Something that I actually have to get used to is the fact that you don't always want to be alone, you know? And I think that's like a both ways. Like sometimes maybe I do, you know, and it's not a thing where I don't want to be with you, but it's like where maybe it's like where I cherish, you know, I'd love to be alone, just plugged into my laptop and doing that for 2 hours.
But you like having me around when you do those as well.
But I like to have you around when I do those things as well. And it's like, it's something that I'm like really learning because I'm used to doing things alone. Does that like, does that like make sense?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's never that I don't want you around, but I'm having to get used to you being around. Lone wolf problems. Next.
The question we get asked most of all.
Oh, so fun.
Every single time I get a question video, Jordan gets comment like always.
So fun.
How did you and Jordan meet?
I kind of want to hear what it's like from your point of view, and then maybe I'll tell it from my point of view in a different video. Sorry guys, memory card was full, so I had to put in another one. Hopefully this one doesn't fill up. Whoopsie. When the message came through, what was your thought?
I thought, all right, here we go, because I'd gotten messages, you know, before people slide in the DMs and stuff like that. And
DMs, thirsty
it's
people.
It's usually like, you know, you say hi, how are you, and then they get like straight into the flirting or like send me a nude or something like that. They go straight into it. I was like, oh, like, okay. So I like clicked on it and it just said, hi, how are you? Worst case is I just block and delete them. You know, it's happened before.
Oh shit! Oh.
He would send me a message and like the first couple of messages, I'm like, all right, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for that comment. I'm waiting for that thing. But it just never came because it ended up being a conversation that was like essays to each other. And I was like, oh wow, this guy's actually like genuinely interested in me. And
she made the move first,
pretty cute.
Putting it out there.
You slid in the DMs though.
I did make it.
I thought it might have been a bit of a catfish because he was just too cute. I was like, this boy is too cute to be talking to me right now. And he was also too nice. And then, yeah, we got onto FaceTime and like, wow. It was just...
Wow, on FaceTime.
I really admired how genuinely interested you were in every single thing that I said and everything that I liked, which I hadn't felt in a while. At this point in time as well, I didn't know anything about what you did, really. I knew that you said you were an actor, but I didn't really think much into it. I didn't know how big he was. I think it was after Nationals where I was like, oh, this guy is like really sweet. He's really awesome. I just want to meet him. It was the week after Nationals, Jordan sent me he just sent me a picture and I opened it and it was a plane ticket to Melbourne in 5 days. And he was staying for like 5 days.
I was staying at an Airbnb. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go see Australia. Now I know someone who's there. And I said that, yeah, I'm gonna go there. And if you wanna meet, that would be really freaking cool. But I'm gonna go there and I'm there in 5 days because I have some time off.
And I started crying. I didn't believe you for ages.
You didn't believe me?
I didn't believe you. I didn't even worry. I think it was more the point that, hey, if this doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out. He goes back to his life in LA, I go back to my life in Australia. But it was the best 5 days ever.
Next question. What are some things that we did together while long distance that made it work? I think it was just having constant communication. The biggest thing, if you're not literally in someone's life every single day, then, you know, to at least converse with them and talk with them and be really open and be like super open. That's what I really found. Even when we have like disagreements or anything like that, at least you know exactly where I stand, you know, and you know exactly how I feel, and you're not like necessarily missing out because we're so far apart that I just feel that I really have to tell you like everything.
Like we always have been, very open. So if I was like, I miss you, like I'm gonna tell you I miss you, or I'm not happy about this, or I am feeling jealous about this, or I'm feeling insecure about this, like we're always very open with each other with our feelings, I think, which made it work a lot more. We were never scared to say something. Communication is just such a big part, and I think that's been really good for being together.
Another thing that we do, we played games. iMessage games or something like that. And we would play ping pong, like beer pong all the time. All the time. I got really good.
On the phone. We did a couple of like quizzes sometimes.
Oh, getting to know each other quizzes. So like we were doing personality quizzes, all that kind of stuff together, which was really cool because you got to learn something about the other person and you got to learn something about yourself. When we're apart, we Snapchat all the time. When we're together, we don't Snapchat ever. We like lose our streaks and it's all gone. And
I was devastated the first time. We got to like 100 and something
yeah,
days.
we were something like, we were deep into
and then we lost it because we were together and we're like, well, I was like, no, but it's okay.
Open communication, play some games. Oh, there's 4 things. And personality quizzes and using social media to be able to stay in communication. Next question.
What was it about Jordan that you...
What happened?
Sorry, I like choked on my own tongue.
Whoops. The last one we're gonna do is, it's kind of like someone asked us for a little bit of advice. And this is actually, doesn't necessarily need to be long distance. This is very general, I feel, but they said, what if your significant other doesn't text you unless you text them first? Should I be worried?
If that was me, I would be worried because I think in being in a relationship, you both have to have even communication. I've been in the position before where I'm like, I feel like I'm always texting first, or always calling, or always doing this.
Let me tell you about that. Oh. Yes, agreed.
It's just, and it makes you like insecure and, you know, build up these things because it's like, well, why aren't you messaging that person either? Like, I would think because you're not thinking of that person. You don't have a desire to message that person or talk to that person.
And that's not like a horrible thing, you know? It's just the fact that if they're not texting you first a lot, I feel like they're just probably not as interested in you as you are in them. One of the biggest things that people don't do in those kind of situations, oh, you're not texting me as much as I text you, then they'll just do that forever. And they won't ask and talk to the person about it and say, hey, I have these feelings for you. How do you feel about that? And I think you should do that always sooner rather than later. It's like a big circle. So I think get the games out of the way and stop playing games in your own mind and get straight to the point and ask the person how they feel. Some people are oblivious and they might not even know that you're super into them. They might not even know. And that's not like their fault or anything like that. They just don't know.
Gotta be in a relationship where you feel like you're together, like working together and you've both got the same feelings, but also moving forward and building up your relationship.
Come aboard my relationship. It's a 2-person boat. It's a buoy. It's not a buoy.
Can't hear me.
It's my 2-person boat. It's my relationship. Anyway, I hope that was at all helpful and give you a little insight into our lives. So if you guys have any more questions, just DM myself, DM Lucy, and we'll do like more questions on Instagram because that's where we get like the most questions. But if you guys have more questions, put them down below in the YouTubes, right?
Yeah.
Right? Did you enjoy that?
I did. Hopefully I can come in more.
Anyway, we're out. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys. Bye.